and let us all do we can to build a better future. So this story is going to be about third parties. This story is about third parties, and I'm going to tell you why. It's about the independent movement and all in all, new people trying to step up. Now, I'm pretty certain, as you have saw in the live stream chat, we're going to be talking about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Vermin Supreme. Now, The Rock has been, I guess, proposed to by both the Republican Party and Democratic Party about whether or not he could meet up and maybe run for office, because he actually recently met with security forces personnel at the Pentagon, and he even had oh my goodness, a wonderful photo op with people like Senator Dick Durbin. Hey, Dick, you want to talk about that Jeffrey E. flight list? And Lindsey Graham Cracker, who once said, hey, we're in the business of killing Russians, right? Yeah, the Rock took a photo with those two guys. I know. Hold on. So let's go ahead and bring up Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson meeting up with security forces at the Pentagon. You know, all this talk about him running for president or potentially doing so. I'm impressed he was able to build his career up, but you have to take a stance on issues. And The Rock, as a celebrity, he plays it safe. He doesn't really share too much of his policy issues because, you don't want to cause too much of a big divide. So what does he believe in? And look, hold on. Wait. Somebody said it perfectly here. Willa Black in the live stream says, what do the celebs believe in policy-wise? Who cares? We just need a popular name to win. A popular name to win. But now I think what the Washington establishment, and yes, even Hollywood elite, are becoming aware of is that people are more in tune with politics. They're going to ask you up front, what do you believe in? Because it's more than just a name or, just how much you are in the limelight. Where do you stand on the issues? How do you feel about certain things? Look, and to be clear here, I am friends with libertarians and conservatives. And yes, I know, surprise, liberals and progressives, all of that, right? I talk to different people of different perspectives and points of view. And guess what? They have maybe some viewpoints I don't agree with, maybe in regards to the economy or politics or something of that nature. But, the world is filled with different opinions. And what a boring world it would be if we all just agreed. No one thought differently. That's madness, and that's not human.
Thank you. How are you? You guys are going checking right
there. Don't you love the nice little piano music playing in the background? Just kind of makes it all look lovely and shiny. Now, of course, The Rock just posted a video with Senator Lindsey Graham Cracker and Dick Durbin and others thanking them for the invite to DC, leading to a very productive meeting, and says, looking forward to working with you on our task at hand. What's the task?
Great, beautiful.
Isn't that great? Hey, Dick, what about the Jeffrey flight list? And look at that bloodthirsty warmonger Lindsey Graham Cracker right there, too. Just real quick here, okay? When Donald Trump comes out to be the most reasonable person, especially when it comes down to the conflict between the war between Russia and Ukraine, I want people to stop dying. And here's Lindsey Graham Cracker saying, oh, yeah, killing Russians, it's the best thing ever. But I want to know where you stand. Where do you align politically? Now, listen to this weak answer. I kind of would expect more, but then again, doing this for so long, I'm not surprised anymore by celebrities or politicians.
You sure you don't want to be president of the United States?
Here's what I can tell you with 100% certainty and surety is that I believe in working hard, controlling the controllables, kicking ass, and always give back.
That's his answer. Okay, where do you stand on the economy? Are you for taxes? Do you want to help out small business owners? Where do you stand on abortion? How do you feel about citizen ballot initiatives? Where do you stand with money in politics? Hey, student debt forgiveness, Medicare for all. Are you for any of those things? What do you want to talk about? Hey, how do you feel about lobby groups and big pharma and the healthcare insurance industry and the military industrial complex? How do you feel about corporate media controlling the narrative? Hello, I want an answer.
That's what I can tell you.
So it's not a no.
You see what?
It's not a no.
You see what I did?
It's not a no.
2024 will not be the most important election year of our lifetime. It won't. It's going to be interesting and funny. I'm just saying those two things. It should be interesting, and I hope it's going to be funny because I want to laugh. 2023 sucked. I want 2024 to be entertaining. I want it to be very entertaining for me because I just want to see just this whole lie of, oh, we're going to have a new president just fall apart because it doesn't matter who sits in the White House. You don't have a seat at the table. So after sitting through that, Dwayne "Rock" Johnson responds with 100% certainty and certainty to rumor about presidential run. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson teasing a 2024 presidential run. During a December 6th interview with Today, Johnson spoke about his fans wish that one day he'll run for president. Though he didn't give definite yes and that he'll run for office next year, he did seem open to the possibility. And I'm not going to reread what he said because we already saw the video. In a 2021 Pipsley conducted survey that found 46 respondents would welcome the Moana star in the Oval Office. So after sitting through that, we need to look at something that could at least brighten our mood. Because there was an event that took place in New Hampshire called the Lesser Known Candidate Forum in New Hampshire. It's a primary tradition. And the reason why I'm referencing this is because, well, these guys seem to have at least clear stances on the issues, including the once great, or not once great, but still great, Vermin Supreme, who we interviewed a long time ago on this show. So Richard Riss, a business owner from Maryland, frustrated with how divided the nation has become, his solution, run for president, because why not? On Thursday, Riss was part of what was called a Lesser Known Candidate Forum, held by St. Anselm College in Manchester every 4 years, a tradition that dates back to 1972 in the first in the nation primary state. Well, at least the way the Democrats have, it's now going to be South Carolina. It only costs $1,000 to get your name on the presidential primary ballot in New Hampshire, a far lower barrier to entry than in other states, so there's no shortage of lesser-known candidates. Riss is one of 45 people who will be on the ballot next month. Does he see a clear path to victory? No, I'd be lying if I said that. Do I hold out the possibility that I could grab some traction? Yeah, I do, he told NPR. Dressed conservatively in a navy sport coat and floral tie, Riss made his way to the stage where he found himself sandwiched between a man wearing a big black rubber boot on his head and a candidate named Paperboy Love Prince, whose outfits invoked a wish-granting genie. You know what? To hell with RFK Jr. or Jill Stein or Dr. Cornel West or any of the libertarian candidates, Trump and Biden, they can't hold a candle. They can't hold a stage next to Paperboy Love Prince. And he's got a Game Boy Advance. I'm sorry, folks. The next president of the United States is going to be Paperboy Love Prince. You heard it here. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, move aside. Paperboy Love Prince is our winner. So let's actually talk about this event. And I want to actually give a huge shout out to Case Study QB for pulling this up. So let's enjoy a little humor in this, well, grim, dark world that we live in.
I don't know if this qualifies as a lesser known candidate, at least here in New Hampshire, but next candidate, you're up, sir.
My fellow Americans and others, as your president, I have promised to engage in hostilities only with powers that I deem to be a real and immediate threat to our peace-loving nation. And that is why I have ordered the Interdimensional Strategic Space Force Command to commence bombing of Narnia.
It's about time. That's a war I can get behind. Yeah, that's right. You heard it here. You heard it here first at Hard Lens Media. Narnia's been getting away with all of its illegal trades, messing up with our shipping lanes. That lion's got to go. That's right. I said it. And if you want to unsubscribe, too bad.
In 5 minutes. If we do not fight them in their dimension there, we will have no choice but to fight them in our dimension here. The orcs are an existential threat to our way of life. We will not stop until we have reached Middle Earth and the last orc is dead.
Thank God. Thank God that's happening. Finally, a candidate that I can relate to.
In this uncertain time, we must unite as a country. Let us all pray for our fearsome, flying, unmanned robot pony drones as they rain fire and death upon our subhuman enemies and innocent wedding parties and lots of non-combatant hobbits.
All right, we do have to wrap it. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mr. Supreme. Moving down to the next table.
The first thing about me is I'm not fit to be president of the United States. I thought
And you already got my vote, buddy.
my age at 77 would rule me out, but that apparently doesn't. But there are other things that disqualify me. So
Give it a shot. There we
Vermin Supreme will take away your guns and give you better ones.
That's great. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Second Amendment people that get behind that.
And these better guns will shoot marshmallows, but they will still be lethal. I am also a proponent of a two-state solution. I believe it's been a long time since America has had a few states added, and I think it would be a boon to the flag-making manufacturers of America. And yes, the 51st and 52nd states, Israel and Palestine, I believe we can put Israel somewhere in Wyoming and Palestine somewhere in Texas.
Sounds reasonable.
Just need a little breathing room. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Vermin2024.com.
Appreciate
There
it.
will be hardships. There will be sacrifices, human sacrifices. But let me assure you this, the road to Ponatopia will be paved with the glitter-encrusted skulls of our vanquished enemies.
Yeah, got to wrap it. Want to mention the website? You are from the internet.
Vermin2024.com.
Mr.
I'm so glad I got to sit between these two guys. I don't know how I got so lucky on that.
You did great.
Yeah, that guy's probably very uncomfortable. Look, Paperboy Love or Paperboy Prince Love, he's the guy. He's the guy we should vote for.
But I'm making the best of it, right? And I'm a serious candidate. And
Case, you were wrong for cutting him off like that because he tried to at least end it on a strong note. But what can we take away from this? The reason why I brought up those two individuals, Vermin Supreme and the lesser known candidate forum, as well as The Rock, is because 2024 is going to be the year in which the Democrats are going to be struggling to gain some kind of relevancy. They are surrounding themselves with Joe Biden. They have went full on into his campaign, despite all the scandals surrounding him. Now, anything can happen between now and the election year. But as the Democrats continue on this path of self-destruction, perhaps they want to lose the election on purpose and put all the blame on Donald Trump. If so, horrible tactic, because all this could have been avoided. I don't know, controversial statement. Maybe if Democrats actually had any kind of follow through and were consistent, we would be in a different era. Maybe, perhaps, so I don't know. Maybe the Democrats could have actually made our lives better, but they chose not to. And now they're trying to do everything they can to deflect, blame third parties, blame Trump, blame anybody. And of course, there's the idea of corporate media once again trying to promote somebody else to run in a Democratic Party, such as Gavin Newsom. I know, people of California, I've read your comments and what it's like having him as your governor, or Kamala Harris. And now this whole idea of celebrity worship, knowing how Hollywood is tanking and all their movies are failing and people just don't care about Hollywood anymore, voters want something different. Now, I don't think any of the candidates from the lesser known forum are really going to gain any kind of ground whatsoever. But there is a growing movement in this country where 50% of the population wants something else. They want somebody else in office. They're tired of the two-party system, Democrats versus Republicans. And the one thing that is universally clear is that Americans are actually dreading the potential lineup of Trump versus Biden. A vast majority of reasonable, independent people don't want to see two old men fight over a cold bowl of soup. We have a president who is extremely senile, and of course, we have a president who wants to, of course, regain control of his political movement and keep his name in the spotlight. Donald Trump. Biden and Trump are one the same. They're cut from the same cloth. They are the same kind of individual. And let's face it, whoever sits in the White House, you don't have a seat at the table. More Americans are becoming disengaged by electoral politics, and in which I have to say, this is where we have to look at citizen ballot initiatives. Citizen ballot initiatives is the one path forward in which we can actually get back our democracy. And I don't know, maybe implement laws to make our lives better, to make our society safer, things that our politicians refuse to do, which is why there's a movement by both Democratic and Republican state lawmakers in the country, in this country, in which states have citizen ballot initiative states, are trying to take away that right from citizens who can actually implement their own ballot initiatives. You see, when we're given the power, reasonable people do reasonable things. These politicians are not reasonable. So 2024 will be an interesting and funny election cycle. Not the most important, but it should be maybe a sign, maybe a stepping stone for something real to happen. We can no longer allow ourselves to be disengaged, but we have to find other alternatives in which we can implement our power. Yes, everyone's excited about who could be the next president. But we all know Goldman Sachs has the final say. We all know that Wall Street has the final say. The big banks, the corporations, all of them. Time for something different. But as a final note, let's have democracy in the chat. Who do you think is more charismatic and actually is consistent with the issues and actually has a clear policy stance? Was it type 1 for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson? Or type 2 for Vermin Supreme? Type in the comment section below. Which one stood out? Which one sounded more convincing? Which one had a stronger argument on the issues? I'll let you decide.